Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for yet another AC Milan news live stream where I'll be speaking about the latest news and rumors currently going on at AC Milan. Now, not many news to speak about today in terms of developments and updates considering the players in which we are after. However, I did want to speak a bit about Suso and his possible contract renewal, which will happen most likely either next week or the week that will follow that. I also wanted to speak about Keita Balde, as there are some updates considering his situation and how he could potentially arrive to Milan in this winter mercato. And finally, I'll be speaking about Keisuke Honda, as there are new teams that are currently interested in him. Now, first of all, like I said, I want to speak about Suso, because Suso has been really one of the major pieces of this Milan team so far this season, and it appears to be that his contract renewal is all set and done. Now, Suso's father, which is also his agent, will be in Milano next week to talk about this possible contract renewal. And like I've said for the past few weeks, there's a high possibility that it will happen. There's other players that are currently in line as well, such as Bonaventura, possibly Paletta and Donnarumma as well. But yes, Suso's contract renewal is definitely on the agenda for Milan and his agent, which is his father, and the player. So we're all waiting patiently for this contract renewal to occur. Right now, as it seems, it's Bonaventura and Suso, the names in which will be in which their contracts will be renewed as soon as possible, and afterwards Milan will consider the other options. But like I said before, Suso's father will be in Milan next week to communicate with the team about his son's possible contract renewal. And he also had something to say on Deulofeu's possible arrival, because Deulofeu is obviously one of the players that has been linked to Milan and could potentially be Suso's backup. Now, he said that he personally doesn't think there's a problem if he arrives, as there are two different players, and that means that he's not really worried about Deulofeu taking up Suso's spot. And in my opinion, I think there's nothing to worry about. Suso has pretty much established himself this season as a real starter at the team, and I don't think anyone could take away that role from him. For whoever comes in, I don't think anyone could possibly replace him for that starting position this season. But definitely Deulofeu would be a good backup for him if he does arrive there, and could be a good backup on that right wing. Now, I wanted to speak a bit about this article I came across today regarding Suso. This is coming from Gazzetta dello Sport, and they kind of review what really occurred with Suso in the past year and how he became the player that he has shown to be this season. Now, they say that a year ago, he had played about 55 minutes for Milan before he left the team to join Genoa on loan. And thanks to that move to Genoa on loan, that is where he was capable of demonstrating all his qualities. And he earned a comeback to Milan by demonstrating all these qualities there, scoring goals, scoring assists. So if he never really left Milan to join Genoa and get playing time there, Milan possibly wouldn't have opened their eyes to see what potential this player really has and what he could do to any team. So another quote that comes in there that I'm reading right now. When he first arrived at Milan back in January 2015, he said that one day he would like to write the history of this club. A big club like Milan deserves such a big history, and he wants to be one of those key components to write the future of this club. But like I said before, his contract renewal will most likely happen, and many people, even players currently playing at Milan, are surprised with what Suso has shown so far this season. For example, Ignazio Abate yesterday featured in an interview for Milan TV, and he said that no one was expecting this type of Suso, and we have to be serious. We have to be honest with ourselves. No one really expected this type of player, and we have to be cautious with him. We have to be we have to be sure that he's going to be the player that every fan wants to see at Milan. And this is exactly what we saw with his time at Genoa. And when he came to Milan, he's shown that he was a player that matured from what he was back before he was at Milan, back before the loan spell at Genoa, that is. So I'm happy that he matured in that aspect. He was able to showcase his talent, his qualities, and finally he was recalled to Milan to show that he's capable of doing very good things. So he's definitely a player that's growing, and also he's not a player that's really satisfied when he achieves success. What I mean by that is when he achieves success such as the Supercoppa, which was earned a few weeks ago now, he doesn't just want to settle for that. He wants to go for more. He wants to earn more trophies. And these are the type of players that we need at Milan. Players that are hungry for success and want to win as much as possible. So definitely, we're keeping an eye on the Suso and this possible contract renewal next week or the week after. But there will be contacts between the two parties. So we'll definitely be waiting for that to happen very, very soon. Now, the next player I want to speak about is Keita Balde. A lot of you guys have asked me about the player. Could he arrive at Milan this winter? Could he arrive maybe in the summer? And like I said several times, I'm expecting this player to arrive in the summer. I don't think it's really a possibility that Lazio will give him up in the winter mercato. Now, he hasn't accepted the contract renewal at Lazio. He does not want to stay at Lazio. He wants to move to another team. We all know that. We are all 100% sure about that because he hasn't signed that contract renewal. So, could it be a possibility that Keita Balde arrives this winter? Yes, it could be. And why? I'm going to tell you right now why. There are a few sources going out there. Several actually, Corriere dello Sport, Mediaset, and even Corriere della Sera are all suggesting that Milan are after the player and have offered a loan plus the obligation to buy at 20 million euros. Now, there were also reports a few days ago, I don't know if you guys recall, that were saying that it was pretty much a done deal. Keita Balde to Milan was going to be official. The agent came out and said that there are no negotiations currently going on with the player and the club, and we're going to have to wait for some further developments to make sure that this deal could actually go through. Now, like I said, this is a deal that I'm thinking could be more possible in the summer than this winter. And why? Because even though the player doesn't want to get a contract renewal, I don't think that Lazio want to give a major threat away to one of their contenders, like Milan, for example. Even though the player hasn't signed that contract renewal, I think they would want to prefer at least keeping him. Even if the player is not going to be happy, they would prefer keeping him as he's still under contract, just so they don't give him away in the middle of the season to one of the contenders like Milan. Why would you want to give a threat away like that right away? Especially when Milan doesn't want to pay the money right away in this winter mercato. And that is what Milan have offered. A loan plus obligation to buy at 20 million euros. That means that the money won't go straight to Lazio this winter, but rather it will arrive to them in the summer. So to me, I don't think Lazio has much to get out of this. Sure, they're going to be getting the money for a player that doesn't want to extend with them, and I could see the benefits into that, but at the same time, they will be getting rid of a major threat this winter to a major contender like Milan. So we'll see the developments with that, but for the moment, there's really no negotiations, and really Lazio haven't given a response to Milan just yet, considering a move for Keita. But once again, it is something that we have to be careful with. We have to keep our eyes open because there could be some developments. The January transfer window just started a few days ago, so it's still a very, very long month. A lot could happen, so we'll see what happens in the next few days. Finally, I want to speak about Keisuke Honda. I've been talking about Keisuke Honda for a few days now. Initially, I had mentioned that there was interest from MLS clubs, Seattle Sounders, LA Galaxy, But now it appears to be that there's also interest from English clubs, such as Watford. Now, despite their interest, it seems that, Watford cannot just sign him because the negotiations are complicated. And personally, even though I could see Honda moving into the Premier League, I think maybe at this time, a league like the MLS is more suited for him to get playing time. That is, obviously the Premier League is a very tough competition, and if he's looking for playing time, that league is not really considering. I mean, what I mean is like it's not really guaranteeing him those minutes that he wants. Whereas a league like the MLS will actually, give him those playing minutes that he wants. So in my opinion, I think a move to the MLS could be more of a benefit to Honda than anything else at the moment. It could still be possible that he could move to the Premier League, but like some reports have stated, the negotiations at the moment are complicated, and there's really no reports of concrete interest. Even though Watford are interested, other clubs are interested. Like I said yesterday, Milan TV did report that there are no concrete offers just yet from any club. Sure, there's interest, but there are no offers. So until then, we're going to have to wait and see what happens to Honda. Now, I just wanted to give you guys a little recap of the whole situation currently going on at the transfer market, because I know a lot of you guys either don't watch the videos on a daily basis, and just want to get a recap of really what's going on at Milan in terms of transfers. And I found this very good article from Tutto Mercato Web that sums it up very, very well. So I'm going to try to translate it for you guys now, just so you could get an insight of what's really happening at Milan in these first few days of the transfer window. So first of all, they speak about Deulofeu, obviously a player that Milan has shown much interest in the last few weeks, and they're interested in signing him. But initially, Milan wanted to get Deulofeu on a dry loan, but Everton don't want that, and that is why Milan is offering a loan plus option to buy now. And even though Everton still haven't given an answer yet, it appears to be that the agent will soon meet up with Everton to tell them about this proposal regarding the loan plus the option to buy. Once again, this doesn't mean that Deulofeu is going to come to Milan and be a starter at Milan. Most likely, he's going to be a backup to Suso that is very close, once again, like I stated before, to a contract renewal. Moving on, regarding Keita Balde, like I said before, he didn't want to renew his contract at Lazio, and he could very well come to Milan, especially if Milan do end up selling and buying Niang. And there are interests from different clubs for Niang, especially from abroad, such as England. There's interest from Arsenal and Man U for him buying Niang. But once again, there are no negotiations considering the player. So maybe if Niang does get sold to one of those clubs, this winter, it could be easier to get to Keita Balde for this winter mercato. But once again, if Keita Balde arrives, there's a possibility that Niang will have to leave, or vice versa. Niang will have to leave before we can get to Keita Balde. Also, a big topic of discussion really is about the midfield, because the midfield is a department in which Milan haven't really shown much interest into any players besides a few. And the main player that we were interested in that midfield was, of course, Milan Badei, but we cannot get to him as Fiorentina wants at least 10 to 12 million euros, money that we at the moment don't have. And therefore, there were other players that Milan was considering, such as Fernando Gago from Boca Juniors. You guys already heard about that option. So, as I said, there's not much really going on in that midfield at the moment. There could be some other players that we could possibly be interested in the coming weeks, but at the moment, there's nothing regarding any midfield players, especially considering any negotiations. Further on, talking about the potential players that could leave, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about these players. Who are they? Who will leave the team in this winter mercato? Well, first of all, Vanjoni will probably end up in Sevilla. They are interested in the player, so Vanjoni to Sevilla could definitely happen this winter. And also Marseille is another team that's interested in the player. And finally, Rodrigo Eli, he has some interest from some Serie B clubs, especially Pisa. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but the team that is coached by Gattuso, Pisa, is interested in getting Rodrigo Eli. And finally, they mentioned about the swap between the goalkeepers, between Marco Storari and Gabriel, which will most likely happen after Sunday's game against Cagliari. So that's pretty much the situation going on in these early days of the transfer window at Milan. All the names, all the things that I've mentioned thus far is exactly what is happening at Milan. The possible moves, what could possibly happen. This is what is going on. So let me know, guys, in the comment section what you guys think about all these players. What do you think going forward in this mercato? Who could possibly arrive? Who could leave? Do you see anyone being signed by Milan that I mentioned? Let me know all of that in the comment section below, as I'll be reading your comments for the next bit. So getting right away into your comments. Gustavo says, "Hi Gio, though it's old news, why did El Shaarawy leave?" Well, El Shaarawy wanted a new move, he wanted a new club, and he's happy at Roma. So Milan at the moment, at the time, were struggling a bit with finances, and therefore they had to get rid of the player. But let's rest assured, El Shaarawy wanted to leave as well. Moving on, what's the latest on selling Bacca, says Chris Blue. There's honestly no real updates on Bacca. I spoke about him yesterday. I spoke about Bacca yesterday. He wants to remain at Milan. His agent said that he's still hungry for more success. And Bacca actually refused an offer from China. China was offering him 10 million euros on wages per season for 3 years, and he rejected that. He wants to remain at Milan, where he wants to win more trophies. So at the moment, he does want to stay at Milan, and I think mentally, his agent said that he has really improved his mentality, especially after that Supercoppa win. He wants to come back strong in that second half of the season and get the results that he wants to achieve. Mr. Golissimo says, "I suppose Milan could pick up a player on a pre-contract, the likes of Carzola and Tyson, Mikael Tyson, and Navas contract expiring." Clayton says, "Gio, who do you think is most likely to join?" Very good question. At the moment, I think we can get something done about Deulofeu, also because they found apparently a replacement for Deulofeu, Everton that is. So I think maybe we could get something done considering him. But like I've said endless times, we're still very early in the transfer window, and a lot more names will pop up, I believe, from now on until the end of the month. So it's just the start. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more players that we will be interested in from now on until the end. So let's keep our eyes open out for that. Milan Chal says, "Any news about Lucas Leiva? Because I heard that Galliani wants him." Yes, he's one of the candidates to possibly be considered in that Egista role. Lucas Leiva was also a player in which we were interested in. I'm not quite sure if it was last summer or the winter before that. But yes, he's one of the players that, according to certain reports, Milan is considering to get. Karim says, "What do you think about us playing 3 games in a week?" I said this endless times once again. It's difficult for the players because these guys are not used to play so many times a week, and that is why we need replacements. I've said this many times every day. We need replacements, players that will come in and be able to rotate with our current squad. Vlad says, "Thoughts on the rumors on Schweinsteiger?" I've read about that, but I'll be honest with you guys. Certainly, I don't think that it will happen. Schweinsteiger, I think it's just bullshit rumors from newspapers. They'll always throw in a name, a big name, once in a while, just to give the fans some false hope. But I really don't think there's anything in Schweinsteiger, especially at the moment. As Bourne says, Gio, we are being linked now with many players, but at the end we get bench players like Sosa, Banjoni, Gomez. I hope this time that we'll get the right players if we want to qualify for the Champions League. And this is a good question you're asking me, or at least this declaration that you're making is actually quite interesting because like if you look at the bench, yes, we do have players like Sosa, Vanjoni, and Gomez. Not bad players, but what I said is that I would prefer if this transfer window we would get some players, some good replacements, some good backups for the current starting 11 at Milan that could come in and rotate with the squad, especially considering the fact that we will be playing twice to 3 times a week on most weeks from now on until the end of the season. So, you know, we need good backups, even though they won't be getting players that could start on every week. We need good backups, players that could rotate whenever Montella needs them to rotate and will deliver, will give Milan the results that they need. Giuliano says the good thing about Keita is that his normal position is left wing, not like Niang, who is normally a striker. Like I said, Keita could be a very good addition for Milan if he arrives, and I definitely hope that he arrives. Problem is, if he's gonna arrive, Niang will probably have to get sold. He will have to leave because Milan have to get some money in order to at least accommodate Lazio's needs. And generally, you know, if Keita arrives, Niang won't be getting any playing time. So Niang's gonna have to leave one way or another if Milan want to sign Keita. Leo Bistoletti says, should Cotrone be given a chance in next half of the season? Well, he's pretty much promoted now, and I do believe that Cotrone will, you know, maybe get some playing time at some point this season. Maybe in the Coppa Italia, who knows? Definitely a player that I would be interested in to see in the winter, in this second half of the season. Hopefully, we'll be able to see him feature in some matches. You know, he's a very interesting youngster that I personally believe should get some playing time at Milan, should be able to show what he's worth. So hopefully we'll see a bit of him. I know we won't see a lot of him, but if we do get a chance to see at least few glimpses of this player in the second half of the season, I'll be more than happy. Moving on with some of your questions, Aniket says, Gio, do you think Locatelli has started to experience a dip in form and fitness? Looks like he's being benched for the Cagliari match. Very good question there that you asked me, Aniket. Yes, it does appear that he will be substituted or at least replaced for that match against Cagliari, and Bertolacci is more than likely to replace him in that Egista role. But I'll be speaking more about that in the match preview on Saturday for the Milan-Cagliari game. But speaking about his fitness and form, it's never easy, you know, when we're speaking about a young player like him to feature every game for 90 minutes. At the beginning of the season, no one was expecting this kid to even get so much playing time, and the fact that he's becoming a starter after that Montolivo injury, the fact that he's becoming a starter, playing 90 minutes on every week, you know, it's definitely tough on the kid, and I could see where he's kind of depreciating in form and fitness. It's definitely something normal, and that is why I say many times we need proper backups for these kids, especially the kids. Players are not used to playing so many minutes every week. We need proper backups, players that could come in and get the job done when our starters are not capable of doing that. So hopefully we'll get at least a replacement for Locatelli, a backup for Locatelli in the winter. Because Bertolacci right now is the alternative to Locatelli. But could he be a stable, solid player that could give us the results that we need? Simply, I don't think so. I think we're going to need something better than him. But do expect some rotation, not only with the Regista, Locatelli, but also with other players across the team. Do expect rotation, because rotation will be made for sure. We have Cagliari on Sunday, and then we have Torino on Thursday, and then we're playing Torino again, either Sunday or Monday. I don't remember now. The following week. So there's so many games currently bunched up together. So we definitely have to expect some rotation going on with certain players. Um, Moving on with some questions here. Esborn says, Gio, we have a chance to sign Bentancur, but now Juventus is getting him. What do you think of him? Is he good? And moreover, he is cheap. Guess we made a mistake of not getting him. Yes, I do remember the reports about Bentancur back in the summer. We were close to getting him, but then obviously everything went to shit. I haven't seen much of Bentancur, but what I remember was that he was a pretty good player. I'm not sure if Juventus is getting him for sure, but definitely, Milan have to look forward. We cannot look behind and think about players that we lost on. We have to look forward and think about players that we could get now. So I don't personally think that Bentancur to Juventus will happen, but we'll see what happens there. Some more questions. Zaid says, hi Gio, what about Papu Gomez? I spoke about him yesterday. Milan are interested in the player, but if you guys haven't heard about Papu Gomez and his latest reports, I suggest you guys go check out the previous videos as I spoke more in depth about him. Is Milan interested in Dzeko, says Frankie. Not that I heard of. I mean, we were interested in him back in the days, but I don't think that Dzeko is a real possible target at the moment for Milan, and I don't think they're really interested in him at the moment. Aniket says, do you believe in Bacca? I'm not liking the fact that fans are turning against him. He has done a lot for us. I think I still believe in Bacca. Many times I've criticized him for the right reasons, just because we pay a lot of money, and I'm expecting more from this type of player. I know he could do more. I know he could score goals and lead us to greatness, to victories. But, at the same time, I think Bacca needs a bit of criticism, because a lot of people were hyping him a lot. This guy's gonna bring us to Europe and so forth. And, he hasn't been doing good. Let's be honest, he started off the season in an amazing fashion, scoring goals, getting the hat-trick against Torino in the first game. But now, in the second half, he needs to do more. He needs to prove to the Milan fans that he's still Carlos Bacca and not just some wannabe out there just pretending to play and not getting the goals, especially since he's being paid to score the goals, right? So I think that Carlos Bacca could come back in the second half and could have a very possible second half of the season. Now, Montella is working closely with him and Niang. I said this for the past few days now. Montella wants to improve their mentality, and that is because he's seen them really lacking that positive mentality. They're not the players that they were at the beginning of the season. So his job right now, his mission is to revive these players and hopefully bring them back to their beginning of season form, where they were actually scoring goals and doing a lot of good to the team. So we'll see what happens, but I'm predicting a pretty positive second half of the season for Bacca. Of course, a lot will depend on what he could show and if he will lose his place to Gianluca Lapadula or not. So we'll see what happens with Carlos Bacca there. Andrea Rossi says, Donnarumma, Abate, Romagnoli, Paletta, Antonelli, Locatelli, Jack, Kuchka, Suso, Bacca, and Yang. Do you think this is the best team we can deploy? Yes, I mean, it's a very good team. I really like it. I like how Kuchka and Jack there on the sides and the midfield could play. Locatelli in the middle, Suso, Bacca, and Yang. I can definitely see that. At the moment, I think this is the best team that you just mentioned. I think this is the best team that we could deploy. Obviously, if you get some better replacements for certain players, such as Keita Balde for Niang, like for example, and Delofeo being a backup to Suso, this team could be even stronger. And I'm just so curious, Niang is a speedy player there on that wing, but just imagine a player like Keita Balde, a guy that is known for skill and speed, really. imagine having Suso and Keita on those wings, guys. Every team will just be destroyed, finished. I'm telling you. And then we got Jack in the midfield. This team has a lot of potential to do good for the future. Finally, one more question. Edel Figo says, Gio, he did score 20 goals last season, though he just needs to improve mentality. And that's why I said it. Baka is a player that's capable of scoring goals. I said it. And that is why I haven't completely given up on him. I know he's capable of scoring lots of goals. I know he's capable of doing good. But he needs to show it. If he doesn't show it and he's getting paid a lot of money for no reason, he needs to show it. He needs to prove to the fans that the Carlos Bacca from last season still exists in this season. Volcano Game says, Gio, there is speculation from Man United might make an offer for Plizzari. What price would you accept? I didn't hear about Man United making an offer, but I did hear about Man City. And they initially made an offer of 2 million euros for the goalkeeper, but it was rejected by Milan apparently. And I'm very happy that it was rejected, because I don't like teams with much power coming in and just stealing the next great goalkeepers out of all these teams just for such a small price. Like, who do they think they are paying 2 million for Plizzari? The guy is the future. He's the next Donnarumma. What if you guys haven't seen Plizzari? Honestly, you'll be very happy if you search him up and look at his highlights. He's capable of doing very big things. Will he get playing time at Milan? Probably not. Could he be a decent backup at Milan? Yes. He needs playing time, and that is why maybe he needs to move to another team. But at the moment, I would definitely not sell him for 2 million. Sure, he's not a goalkeeper that has proved himself yet, but this guy has a lot of potential, and giving him away for 2 million would be a complete mistake in my opinion. Math3G says, Gio, I think everyone wants to know who would you buy. I would buy everyone if I could have. But being honest with you guys, we simply cannot buy anyone at the moment if we cannot sell anyone. And that's what I've been saying many times. I want to buy the best players, but if we have no money, where are we going to get those players from? If I would have to choose from one of the players that we are currently linked in, if I had to choose from one of those players, I would want to buy Keita, because he's such a good player. He's fast, he's skillful. I've seen a lot of games from Keita at Lazio, and I know that he's capable of bringing very good things at Milan. I think Keita coming to Milan would be amazing, not just for himself, but for the team and the fans. Very skillful, like I said, capable of doing very, very good things at Milan. So that is one player that I would personally buy if we had the money. But at the moment, we don't. And if we want to get someone, we're going to have to sell someone else for the money, at least to generate some funds. So we'll see what happens. But if I had to choose one player, it would definitely go Keita. Blah XO, no, I won't say that. You can just get out of there, and I will not say that. That's for sure. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me today for yet another transfer news video. As usual, I'm on the channel on a daily basis, live streams at the same time on a daily basis every day to keep you guys updated with the latest AC Milan news and rumors. Also, we got match previews, reviews, watch-alongs for you guys that are new to the channel. Plenty of reasons for you guys to subscribe, so please do so if you haven't yet. We are close to reaching 11,000 subscribers. It will be huge for us if you guys could hit on that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And also, please hit the like button. Always helps the channel and the video. Thanks for watching. This has been Gio signing off from Rossoneri TV. And as always, Forza Milan.